Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We find ourselves Erev Shabbos, Parshas Dvarim, and it is also Parshas Chazon, right before Tisha B'Av. We're in the heart of the 9 days, heart of the Avelus, commemorating the Churban Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, getting ready for Tisha B'Av. And I wanted to share with you two ideas I heard recently from Rav Asher Weiss, Hagoyin Rav Asher Weiss Shlita, on getting ourselves ready, putting ourselves in the proper frame of mind for the day of Tisha B'Av, for these last days of the 9 days, and to properly perhaps tap in to what we need to be working on during this period of time. So the Navi Zechariah tells us in Zechariah Pereches Pasuk Yites that the Arba Tzomos that we have to commemorate the Churban Habayis, so la'asid level will become days of Yontiv, days of Moadim. The Pasuk tells us Tzom HaRavi v'Tzom HaChamishi, Tzom HaShvi v'Tzom HaAsiri, Yu lebeis Yisrael l'sasion u'lesimcha u'lemoadim tovim v'ha'emes v'ha'shalom ehava. And these days are going to become days of Yontiv, days of Moadim, days of Sasan, days of Simcha. And in the last three words of the Pasuk, Hashem loves Emes and Shalom. And the question is an obvious one. What is the kesher between the Reisha and the Sefer? The fact that the Arba Tzomos will become Yom Tovim, what does that have to do with the Sefer, the Pasuk, Emes, the Hashalom, Ahava? What exactly is going on? And it's very, very important to tap into this idea. It's a very striking Yerushalmi that, again, Harav Weiss emphasizes a lot. Yerushalmi tells us in Yuma, in the 5th perek, Kol dor she'eno nivne biyamav malin alav kilu hichrivo. Any generation where we don't have a binyan Beis HaMikdash, we didn't rebuild the Beis HaMikdash, it's not the pshat that we were just not zochet to have a binyan habayis. It's not the pshat. The pshat Yerushalmi says very, very striking words is ki ilu hu hichrivo. It's as if the Beis HaMikdash was once again destroyed in that generation, which means that if in our generation, let's say yesterday we had a Beis HaMikdash, today that Beis HaMikdash will be destroyed. If it hasn't been rebuilt, the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed. So we have to tap in, why exactly was the Beis HaMikdash destroyed some 2,000 years ago, the Bayis Rishon, Bayis Sheni, and we must be failing in the same exact areas, because ki'ilu hichrivot, as if we ourselves destroyed it in our generation. So the Gemara in Nedarim Pei Aleph tells us, Alma of the Haaretz. Why were we exiled from the Bayis Rishon? Why did we have a loss of the land? Why was there a Churban HaBayis? And Davar Zeh Nishal leChachamim u'lenevim leMalachi HaShorez v'lo Pirshu. The Chachamim, the Nevim, the Malachim didn't have an answer. So, what is the answer? Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu came down ba'atzmo, he says, Al ozvam es torasi, shel berchu b'Torah tchila. They left my Torah, they did not make Birchas HaTorah. And the Ran on the spot points out, a very famous Ran, that it's not just a failure to say Birchas HaTorah. The failure to say Birchas HaTorah is evidence of the fact that they didn't, that generation, while they might have been learning, but they didn't have the proper chashivas haTorah. They didn't tap into the idea that kihem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, that Torah is a core to our existence, and therefore they treated it lightly. They didn't treat it in the same way of chayenu. Rav Asher quotes a very well-known and important sugi in Maseches Makos. The Gemara Maseches Makos says that if you have a Talmud that is gola ti'ir miklat, the Rebbe has to be gola imo. Why? Talmud shagola imiklat, Rabo megalin imo, shenemar v'nosa echos ha'aram ha'ela v'chai. Osalo kedei sheyichye. The Talmud has to live. What is life? Life demands limud Torah. Life for a Jew demands a kesher with his Rebbe. He has to live in the Miklat. If he has to live in the Miklat, then he has to be living with Torah. That's what life is, and therefore his Rebbe has to be Gola Imo. The Rambam brings us down, Lahalacha Hilchos Rotzeh, Perek Zayin, Halacha Aleph, Chayei Bali HaChochma U'Mevaksheha, Lelo Talmud Kemisa Chashuvim. A person who is a Bal Chochma, he seeks truth, he seeks Chochma, so if he doesn't learn, it's Kemisa Chashuvim. That is not called Chayim. So number one, the Beis HaMikdash HaRishon was destroyed. We were exiled because we didn't tap into the Chashivus HaTorah. We didn't tap into that chashivas. We want to cure that failure. So in our generation, we have to realize the centrality of Torah learning, how Torah learning is our life force. It is our chayus. It is our vitality, and perhaps the bracha that we were, this is what the Baal Shem Tov says, the bracha that we were perhaps delinquent in was the bracha of the ha'arevna, to feel and appreciate the sweetness of Torah. And when you have that feeling, sure, you want to gobble it up more and more. You want to Winnie the Pooh. The Torah, it's mesikus, it's honey in your mind, and then you'll be able to transmit it to your children. That's what was their failure, a lack of treating and appreciating the chashivas haTorah, kihem chayenu, the orech yameinu. The Gemara Yuma on Daf Tes tells us the Bayis Sheni was destroyed because of sinas chinam, and it was terrible sinah in the world. The Jewish people did not appreciate each other, did not love each other, and the chashivos of loving our fellow man. The Rambam ends Hilchos Hanukkah with the following shaila, based on a Gemara Masechah Shabbos Daf Chav Gimel. If you have an option, you'll have one candle, either for Shabbos candles or Ner Hanukkah. What does he do? If he only has enough money for a Ner Shabbos or Kiddush, wine for Kiddush, what does he do? And the Rambam says, in all those cases, the Ner Shabbos carries the day. Ner Shabbos trumps Ner Hanukkah. Ner Shabbos trumps Yain for Kiddush, because Mishum Shalom Bayis, because of the Chashivas of Shalom. Sharei Hashem Nimchak, the Shem Hashem by the Parish of Sota is erased. La'aso Shalom ben Ish Ishto Godol HaShalom. So important is Shalom, in that Shekol HaTorah Nitna La'aso Shalom Ba'olam, the whole premise of Torah. And the reason Torah was given was La'aso Shalom Ba'olam, Shne'emar Deracheha Darche Noam, V'chol Nesivoseha Shalom. That is the premise of Torah. You can't have Torah without Shalom. So says Rav Asher Weiss, Pshat in the Pasuk, you want to know Pshat in the Pasuk, you want to be able to convert these days of mourning into days of Moadim. So the answer is, the way to convert them is V'ha'emes, V'ha'shalom, Ahavo. If you love emes, you tap into the chashivas haTorah, the chashivas of limud haTorah, the chashivas of birchas haTorah. You tap in the proper way. So then, of course, you're curing the problem of Churban Bayis Rishon. That's emes and shalom. There was sinas chinam. Bnei Yisrael did not love each other in the proper fashion. They did not respect each other. They didn't have the common decencies of respect. Ben Adam lechavero, shalom. So Hashem is telling us, and the Navi is telling us, va'emes va'shalom ahavo. You want to cure the problem of Churban. You want to convert these arbat somos into yemei simcha, yemei moadim. So the answer to that problem, the cure to that problem, is emes and shalom. Tap into the chashivos of daily limud haTorah, ki'im chayenu, and tap into the chashivos of ahavas chinam, of shalom, because after all, the whole premise of the Torah was given for the sole purpose of d'rachel darchei noam v'chol nesivoseh shalom. Interesting. The Gemara Nedarim Pei Aleph that we just cited tells us that the reason for the Churban Bayis Rishon was we didn't appreciate Torah. We didn't appreciate the emes of Torah. We didn't appreciate kihem chayenu v'orech yameinu. But the Gemara Yuma Daf Tes tells us that the Bayis Rishon was destroyed because of the Gimel Averos Chamuros, Shvichus Damim, Gilui Arayos, and Retzicha. How do you reconcile that? What exactly is the pshat? So Rav Asher Weiss cites a very, very beautiful mashal. A mashal l'ma davar domeh. You have a king, and the king has in his court, he has a minagain. He has a person who plays instruments. He's a phenomenal harp player. He does an amazing, amazing job, and the king loves his music. Morning, afternoon, night, he's relishing the sweetness of the melodies of his harp player. And one day, this harpist, he commits a crime against the Malchus, and for that crime, he's chayav misa. And the king now has a quandary. What's he going to do? The man is chayav misa, he deserves to die, but the king doesn't deserve to be punished. I don't deserve to be punished, says the king. So if I kill him, I'm going to lose his beautiful, beautiful music. So he offers this harpist a stay of his execution because he doesn't want to punish himself. He wants to continue to enjoy the melodies and the music of the harpist. What happens, though, is what transpires is this harpist gets very, very sick at some point, and he no longer can play. Once he no longer can play, so then he's lost his zuchus to exist. And the king says, okay, now off with the head. Now he's going to be punished for that crime. So says Rav Asher Weiss, that's exactly the pshat, how you reconcile the Gemara in Maseches Yuma Daf Tes, that the Beis Hamikdash Harishon was destroyed because of the Gimel Averos HaChamuros, with the Gemara Pei Aleph, Nedarim Pei Aleph, that it's because Al She'ozvam Es Torasi, that we didn't properly appreciate Limit HaTorah, the Chashivas HaTorah, Al Shelo Berchu BaTorah Tchila. You see, yeah, we did a lot of terrible Averos in that generation. Shvichus Damim, Gili Arayos, and of course Avodah Zarah. We were Chayiv Misa. We deserved the Churban Beis HaMikdash. But you know what? We had one thing going for us. We played beautiful, beautiful music in front of the Ribono Shel Olam. We played the beautiful music of Limud HaTorah, of Chavrusa learning, of studying and connecting to His Torah. And that was music to Hashem's ears. It's a beautiful, beautiful melody of Kol Torah, music to Hashem's ears. But then something happened. We lost that music. We didn't appreciate the Chashivas HaTorah. We didn't play those melodies anymore in the same beautiful, beautiful way. And once we lost that, we weren't playing the king's music. So at that point, we're going to get punished for the Gimel Averos HaChamuros. Then we're going to go ahead in that stay of execution that we merited because of our music. So we lost that stay of execution, and now we're going to get punished for the Gimel Averos Avodah Zarah, Gilei Ras, and Shvichus Damim. So that's the relationship. The Schus HaTorah can accomplish so much. Ha'emes v'Shalom Ahavo. And in these last 3 or 4 days before the Yom HaNorah of Tisha B'Av, so we want to think about how we can tap in, how we can cure every day. Think about how I can be mechazik myself, appreciating the Amita Shel Torah, tapping into my own Limud Torah, and then one good deed, one mitzvah ben od machavero to promote shalom in the world. These are the two things that we can do to cure this ail, cure this problem on our own small level. So we, at least individually, if not on a communal level, we don't bear that burden of ki'ilu hichrivo, as if we destroy the Beis HaMikdash. We should all be zoche to tap into this idea of emes v'shalom ahavo, tap into our limud Torah, the chashivas HaTorah, tap into the midah of shalom, and thereby, Mirz Hashem, these days indeed will become days of sason, simcha, u'moed.